Hello, my crafty friends. I was in the mood to do some jelly printing, and I have a bunch of papers that I've only jelly printed on one side, so I'm going to go today and do the other side. I want to do a few that are kind of Valentine-y, but most of them are just going to be whatever I decide to do at the moment. First thing I'm going to do is take some of these and just put a background on them. So we'll just start out by putting a little paint down. I feel like a lot of times just the first page that I do is just, or the first stuff I put down is just a kind of a background. So okay, now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do this other part since I can rub underneath here. I have a clothesline strung up across the room so I can hang up my papers. So that one kind of looks like a cave painting, but in purple. I like it, actually. Hang this one up. And then let's do some pinks. I think the purples will look fine underneath the pinks. Oh, this one hasn't been opened yet. Some scissors. All right, let's see if we can add that in there. Ooh. One of my goals for this year was to go ahead and try to finish this this composition book that I'm doing doing my brain off on, so that I can do something else in it. This is something I did some tags, and this is where I pressed them down. So I'm just going to go over that. I'm not worried about getting some kind of perfect print on it. I just want to kind of cover it up with paint. Whoa. Well, good grief, I'm just scraping them everywhere. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side of this one. It's kind of boring at first, but when I do a pattern, I mean, it's kind of pretty, but I like to have something on there that I can use as a background for something else before I start really trying to do cool textures and things. Kind of like this, that's just a background. That didn't pick up very much. Okay. So you can see that that's not very pretty, so it's something we'll definitely be putting more stuff on. I think I need to put a thin coat of something and see if we can just pull this off. Let's use this one. Oh, it's another one I haven't opened up. I'm going to kind of pull a bunch of that stuff off. Taking off a little bit more. So I'm just leaving a light coating on there. I hope that'll make it easier to pull that stuff off there. Okay, and one of the best kinds of paper to pull things off with is deli paper, but I have this really thin, some kind of wedding vellum type paper. I don't even know where I got that, but we're going to see if it'll pull this off. Let it sit there a minute. May have chosen the wrong thing. I've never tried to do this on vellum before, so I don't know what's going to happen. It looks like it's pulling up. Well, it did pull up quite a bit. That's all it's going to pull up. Okay. So let's try again. And okay. This is antique parchment, so we'll just put a little bit of that on there. When I brayer it off, I like to really make sure that I'm making a really thin layer. That way it dries faster and you can put more layers on top of it. I'm gonna let that one sit just a minute before I put paper on it and see if it can grab a hold of that a little bit. All right, let's put this down on here. If you're wanting some kind of pristine print, you probably ought to go watch someone else. I like all the crusty stuff and pulling it up. That's one of my favorite things. So it just makes such great backgrounds and texture. Okay, let's see what happens here. Well, we pulled up quite a bit more of it. It's kind of old worldy colors. That will make a good background. But we still got lots of stuff on there. So let's just put down one more try here. Let's do a blue. A bit more. I've watched a lot of people do jelly plating, and it seems like there are as many ways to do it as there are people who enjoy it. So everybody finds techniques that they enjoy, and that's, you tend to, once you found the one you like, that tends to be something you come back to. I'm going to let that sit a minute, and then I'm going to brayer off just a little bit of it. See if it'll probably too much that time. It's a fine line between leaving enough on and taking off. Okay, I'll try it on the back of this one. And some papers just hold the paint better than others. I'm not sure what the qualities are that the Gelli plate likes the best, but you can tell when you put it down and it feels like it really sticks, then you know you've got one that probably will pull some stuff up. See, that one's, it pulled up quite a bit. Still some crusty stuff down there, but I'm getting some neat backgrounds anyway, so I'm not going to complain. See, we haven't done green. Let's do a little green. This is a metallic. I've never used a metallic to kind of pull things up before, but we'll see what happens. They're a little thinner, so I don't know if that'll make it work better or less well. Okay. Let's do this one. It's just copy paper. I printed off some maps. A couple of other families and us took our kids. We wanted to teach them that, about mass transit or city transit system. Well, in our city, we're not big enough to have, any real mass transit system. We do have some buses. So we were going to take the kids and go on one of the bus routes. So I printed off the maps on there, and that turned out to be a disappointing experience on a number of levels. But it sure made my kids appreciate the fact that they have cars and parents who will take them places, because people that were trying to get on the same bus we were trying to get on, some of them were going to work, and and they couldn't even get to work because the bus driver didn't show up for that bus. And we'd all bought tickets and everything, and they just had to give us vouchers so you could get on the next bus, and then but you had to use them that day, and well, we tried a second time, and I can't remember what the issue was the second time, but we finally just decided that we were grateful that we didn't have to use the city buses, and said a little prayer for the people who do, because that is not a fun way to travel. Let that sit a minute. I may just go on with what I'm doing if I can't get more of this off, but since the first thing I wanted to do was put some backgrounds down anyway, I don't guess it really matters, because I'm getting the backgrounds down, and then I can go back and put pretty stuff on top of them. I love using just about anything in your house. Almost you can use this as a texture tool for the Gelli plate. That green turned almost gold under there between the blue and the pink. Okay. Alrighty. Let's mix some colors that are not all pinks or all whatever, so we can play a little bit more. I'm going to do this metallic green and blue. This is ultramarine blue, folk art. Uh-oh, you don't want to leave those on there. Crusty things are not good. Okay. All right, let's do a little bit of a lighter blue. If you kind of bounce your brayer around like that, you get kind of a marbledy thing rather than having everything really mixed together. And that's kind of cool. Plus it gives it some texture. Okay. Oh, I keep hitting that paint and throwing it off on the floor. Probably shouldn't have put it over there on that side anyway. Okay. So we got this on this one. And so I'm going to kind of just get rid of it, cover it up. Got holes on that side, so I'm trying to keep it where I'm not smashing paint up through the holes. Well, I got a little bit anyway. Alrighty. That's a little bit strange looking. Let's see what it's like when it dries. Let's go ahead and put down another one and pull up the rest of this. All right. It's got some good texture to it. Okay. Let's see if we can. Put a piece of deli paper on there and see what we can pull up with that. This is what's on this deli paper is alcohol ink that I just was playing around with, and I had done some where then I doodled on these and made them flowers. That was kind of fun. But I just did it goes through several pages at once when you use the alcohol ink on these, and so I had a bunch of them. So I didn't get hardly anything come up that time. So let's do some of these. This is metallic cobalt blue. I like that. Ooh. I may have to just do that as a base because I put quite a bit of it down. I'm going to stick a little of this bronze in here just for some contrast. Yeah, I got a little bit much of that too. Probably with the biggest problems I have doing this is that I get too much paint. And so my first one's too juicy. And you can tell when you brayer off, your brayer is really full that you overdid it. And you can tell by looking at it, I overdid it. Oh well, no biggie. We'll just pull off a layer and real lightly. And then, well, that one's gonna have to sit a while. When I first started jelly plating, I didn't have this clothesline thing, and I was constantly having to try to find a table big enough to lay all these things down on while they dried before I could put the second layer on them. And hey, this clothesline thing, it's one of those retractable clotheslines. It's wonderful. It really helps a lot. I don't know. I don't know. First layer, first layer. I just need to keep reminding myself it's just the first layer. Let's see what we can pull up with this. We've got places to hang 3 more, and then we'll start doing the second layer on them. Okay. Let's do some metallic blue. And oh, this is pretty. Let's do this. This is called Deep Magenta. These are Artist Loft. They're student grade paints. They're level 1s, but they work great for jelly plate. And I'm a level 1 kind of painter anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Oh, open another page in this one to do next. So let's put this on back of this one. One of my favorite things to use is some lace over the top of something that's a background. You know, put a color on it and then put lace, and we'll do some of those. Those are a lot of fun. Pretty dark, pretty dark. We'll have to do something light on top of that one. Okay. Something on the back of this. Sometimes I wonder if I'm smart doing front and back, because you might be wasting whatever's on the back of it. But I like to make cards or put them in journals, and then it's neat to have something on both sides. So most of the time I go ahead and print on both sides. Well, that got some cool texture. Okay, let's go back to Gelli paper. See if we can pull off some more of that. A little bit. That's kind of developed a skin that's just not wanting to come up. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of peel it up. Okay, no, here too. All right. Do something light over the top of this one and see if we can get some more of that off. Okay, let's see. That's kind of cool. Okay, one more and then we'll start doing the second layer. Let's do some, this is Regal Red Metallic. And then let's add a little bit of copper. Oh, that's almost the same. Let's not do that. No, that'll look too Christmassy. Let's add a little PBO. What is this one? Iridescent blue black. That might be interesting. Let's see if we can. That's not wanting to mix. You see how that's still got that swirl that I put the paint down in? Sometimes it just does that. It just doesn't want to mix. Sometimes it works out good and sometimes it doesn't. So. But this looks really pretty, doesn't it? Sometimes the wipe-off pages are the best. Especially when you start stamping and then you stamp over on top of them to clean your stamps as you go. Now that's really cool. Sometimes I put another paper down there instead of using a wipe-off page to do that part. Okay. Let's go back to our Gelli paper. When you clean off with that. All right, we got a little bit more. Okay, we're going to work on this one again now and put some kind of textural something on it. So what would look good on top of purple? Let's do some metallic blue. This is called Blue Pearl. Okay. Get another wipe off that. And let's do some lines with this one. Okay. We'll do that on top of this darker purple. I learned pretty quickly that if you're doing something double wide like this, you need to stick your hand underneath, because if you're rubbing over the second layer, it just wiggles and it doesn't work as well. I don't do very many of them that are like that, but this was a big piece of multimedia paper. And okay, that looks pretty cool. Now we're going to take see if we can get some more of that off on the light colored one. We did get some of it. So that looks pretty cool. I like those. Oops. Alrighty, I'll hang that back up. And then this is the next one in line. So we'll do something on top of that. Let's try Let's try lavender on top of that and do a lacy kind of effect. See how that looks. Okay, I've got this piece of lace that I'm just going to lay over it. And then let's put something else. This one needs some more layers, so we're going to just put it on there. And we're going to press that lace down onto the jelly plate. And anything that comes through the lace we'll pick up on this piece of paper. You can tell not a lot's coming through because the paper is lifting. It's not sticking down. We got some texture there. And then we'll take the lace off. And now we'll put this pink one back down. This piece of paper is actually for postcards, something you're supposed to print postcards off on your computer. But I got it at the thrift store, you know, for a package of it for $1 or something. So you can kind of see that. That looks real pretty. I like that. The next one we have is the second print off of that same pull. So we will do that up a little bit. Okay. I've got some other laces that I really think work better than that one, so we'll do a different kind of lace. Here's another one I haven't tried yet. This one I got off of a shirt. Half price day at the thrift store, so the shirt ended up costing me $1. I didn't really like it. I mean, it was okay, but when it didn't fit like I wanted it to, I thought, okay, we'll just use it on the jelly plate. So remember that if you have any lacy kind of shirts that you don't particularly care for, or you see one for $1 at a garage sale or something, go ahead and get it, because anything with texture is good on the jelly plate. I got some wallpaper books, and one of them is textures, and I think that the person I saw using those on the jelly plate was Melissa Bishop. And I just fell in love with that. And she said, well, go to your local Sherwin-Williams store and ask them if they've got any retired wallpaper books. And if you're lucky, you'll get one with texture. And I got lucky and got one with texture. So haven't tried to use it yet. It's sitting over there, but I'm going to go ahead and stick this one down to press my lace down. You want to do it firmly, but you don't want to push it so that you end up sliding the lace around, because that ruins your print. Now, hardly any yellow came through that. The main purpose was to imprint the lace onto the... Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love it, I love it, I love it. Let me stick this on here. Okay. Now then, we'll put this down on top of this. I may wish I'd put it on this side instead of the pink side, but oh well. The pink side needed help. This side I can do anything on top of because it's just where I brayered off some cream color. All right, let's pull that up. Now that ugly pink paper turned into that. Now, I think that's lovely. I'm very happy with that one. Very happy with that one. Then they use that piece of lace again for the next one. What's next is this. So we'll do that again. Let's see. What color do we want to put on top of that? How about I'm not really a pink person, but somehow I think pink might be good for that. Try this one out. We'll use this really bright pink here. We're going to do the same thing that we did with the yellow. So we'll get our lace. I don't know if the yellow paint will come off on this or not, and I don't really care. It's okay if it does. Okay. And once again, this seems to be our lace press paper, so we'll just do that again. And like I said, you want to be careful not to shove the lace around. Just press down. Okay. And then I'm going to bring this book right here is one of my brayer off page, and I'm going to put this lace right down on top of it. And then I'm going to use the brayer. See if some of that paint will come off on this. If it does, see, you kind of get 2 for 1. That's always cool. And it did, sort of. It's not real bold, but it's cool. Alrighty, I'll let that lace come lay there and dry a little bit. Let's put this paper over the top of this. See what happens. Alright, let's pull it up. That looks nice. I like that. Then we'll take this one and see if we can get some more off of this. I don't know if we can or not. It won't hurt it if we don't. It's sticking good, so maybe some will come up. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, let's see what we got. What do we want to do? I think we're going to do another one of those. And we're going to do it in, the page we're printing on is this one. So I think we will use, what would look good on top of that blue? Yellow would probably look good on top of the blue. Let's try that. If the yellow is pink, that's okay too. Even better. Even better. Okay. Okay, let's get a little sprayer off right here. Okay. Let me put this back down again. Use our handy dandy press the lace down paper. Let's lay our lace down on top of this one. This is what the lace did when I laid it down on top of this and rolled the brayer over it. That looks pretty cool. Okay. Now let's get this blue here and put it over it. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. Now that's got some depth and some texture. I really like that. Really, really like that. I think that's my new favorite lace. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to use a little bit of, I think this pale blue. Put a little bit over it. Not a lot, because this I'm just wanting to try to clean it up. I think I'm just going to use this and see if I can just pull that off. So I'm going to use a fresh one because it's not already saturated with paint on that side. Let that sit a minute more. Maybe take off a tad. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's see what we can do. Some more of that matte paper from the bus routes. Don't waste anything. I've done some jelly plating on some of my papers I printed off for my kids for school. We homeschool, and I looked in my file file cabinet and found all these papers that I had printed off when my son was like in first grade. And then we did something else. That looks pretty. And I never did actually use those. That was just something I thought would be cool. I should use, you know, but I didn't actually use it. So, it's a lot harder for me to actually jelly plate over the work they actually did than it is the papers that I printed off that we never used. All right, let's see if I can find. Got a couple more pieces of lace here that I like pretty good. So we'll get those out. Do some of with those. Okay, let's see. What paper we're going to be putting it on. Okay, this one we're going to be putting on here. And since that's green, that'll look a lot like leaves. So I think I'm going to do some, let's do some purple that's a little darker. I don't know if that's too much. I mean, too dark of a purple, but we'll see how it looks. I've always used really light colors for my lace. We'll see. Maybe a dark color would be good, especially on that bright green. Okay. Okay. And we're going to use this piece of lace. It's already purple on that side, so I'll just put it down there and do it again with purple on that side. Use our lace press piece of paper. Okay. We're gonna see what really. We're gonna put our lace over on this page and see if we can get something off of it. Not very much. Okay, let's put our green down on here and see what happens. All right, that's what we got. It's kind of pretty. You can definitely see the green through it. Wasn't sure if you'd be able to or not. Okay. Okay. Next one we're going to try to do something with is this one. So let's see, what color do I want to put on there? I think no. The hardest thing about this is trying to decide what we're going to do on top. I think I'm going to use this Metallic royal red. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Sometimes if you really rub it, when you're not trying to keep the colors from mixing, you can rub out some of that where the streaks just stay put. Okay. I think I want to roll this off on the back of this page. Okay, and let's put this lace. Put this piece of lace down. This was, I think it was a placemat or something. I got it. It came just exactly like that. I'm assuming you were supposed to use it as a placemat. I don't know. I guess maybe just as a doily. I don't know. I'm not. I like doilies if somebody made them. I mean, somebody handmade them. But I'm not into doilies just for the sake of having doilies. And so, this is not something I would use in my house, but I think it will make pretty. And it's not because my house is all that special. It's just because it's not. My house is furnished just like my a lot of it's secondhand or thrift store or whatever. Okay, that didn't pull up a whole lot. I think I'm gonna try again and see if okay, I think that's where it is. Let's see if we can get it to. Okay. The point is to pick up the stuff that's inside and leave more of a print. All right, let's see what happens. Once that lace gets saturated with paint, it's a lot harder to get you a good imprint on it. That's the only bad thing about it is. So if you ever get a lace tablecloth, don't cut off one piece and give the rest to somebody else. Cut off a bunch of pieces so you can use them because they do kind of get saturated. And like that one, you know, it wasn't wanting to make a good imprint on the jelly plate again. Okay. Looks pretty though, doesn't it? So I'm okay with that. And the next piece we have is this. And so I want to do something different with that. What are we going to do that's different? We have some stuff we could use. I have this little thing. I have this. That's really cool. Then I have this. And I really like the look of this one, so I think that's what I'm going to do here. So we want something that'll really show up against those blues. Since we've got some of that copper underneath, that actually might be a good idea to do that, but it might ruin the, you know, the pattern. What to do, what to do. Let's do something different. Let's see. Okay, here's a gold. We'll just do some gold. The metallic ones stick and are more like make peaks and stuff when you roll them out more than the regular ones. I'm not sure why that is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to press it down right here. really good. And then I'm going to press right here. That kind of made a mess right there. But then I'm going to take this that I pressed down and I'm going to come over here. You can't really see, but I'm pressing it down onto this piece of paper. We'll see how that looks. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. What really looks pretty is this. So I just hang that in my studio, you think? Let's see if we can do a little bit more right down here. A little bit more right here. Okay. Yeah, let's find one I didn't really like, and we'll put this gold over the top of it. All right, we're going to just put the gold over the top of this. Oh, maybe on that blue instead. Let's do that. See, sometimes one side's more inspiring than the other side. It looks pretty. It's kind of really covered up the blue a lot. And now, just for fun, I like this, but I think it'd be fun to put some gold on it. So let's see what we think. It's got a lot of cool texture on it. I like that. Be pretty in collage or as the background. Okay. So let's see, what do we want to do next? I think I've got these hearts. Thought it might be fun to use some of those. And I've also got this frame, which I thought might be fun to put down on a paper. And then we can do a heart over it, but it'll kind of stick out around the frame. I think we'll try that. So let's see, what do we want to do? Let's do red. No, let's do this one. It's barn red. It's dark. We'll put it down. And where'd our brayer go? Oh, here it is. Okay. Hold on, let me brayer off over here a little bit. Okay. And now we'll put the frame on here. And you're going to really press. Make sure you've pressed all the way around. Because what we're really trying to do is get that. Okay. And what kind of background do we want to use for that one? Okay, I think we're going to use this one and put it down. We'll pull that up, and we've got this frame on it. That looks really nice. I like that. Okay, we've got to let that one dry before we can put the heart on it. So let's take off the rest of this with this paper. All right, add a little more color to that one. It's just kind of a hodgepodge mess. Okay, so next, what do we want to do next? We'll come back and do that one with the heart later. Okay, I think I'm going to do some red. This one is called Santa Red. Haven't used this color before. Got it over Christmas and then never did even use it with Christmas stuff, but it's a pretty red. Not really a red person, but all right. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one of these frame ones. Press, 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 press. Okay. Pull that. Oh, that looks good. Okay. And then let's put that over what? We'll put that over the top of this one. I've seen people who put a piece of tape, like a corner here and a corner there or something, so they could always put their paper on exactly the same spot so that everything layers well. But I never think about it till I'm already at this point going, oh, that would have probably been nice. But that turned out pretty good. I did a fairly decent job of getting it on there where it would layer over. Okay. I'll just pull this up. Another one of those sheets that I used to brayer off. Oh boy, I barely took anything off. Okay. So let's see, what do we want to do next? Let's do some orange. that red. Orange might be nice. Not really a big orange person either, but somehow on a jelly plate I like it. Everything's different when it's clothes, you know, things you would never wear, or at least I would never wear. I end up liking and doing, you know, for something else. Just to roll this off. All right. And what can we do? Let's see. Well, let's use this. These are little corrugated cardboard things. I'm not even sure where I got them, but we'll press them down in here and try to, if we can pull off some of that extra paint around them. And then maybe we can get that pattern onto another piece. All right. Excuse me. We'll pick those up. I'm going to put that down on top of this because that's a wipe-off paper that I used part of, and just so I thought I'd add to it. We'll see if this adds anything to it or not. All right, let's see. Not so much. Okay, well, at least it's in the same color family that I was using there. So that wasn't anything so great. Oh, goodness, let me get a drink. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see what's next that I want to add something to. We're going to do something on top of this. And let's put down a what to do, what to do. Okay, let's do some of this light lavender. And some of this pink. I don't know. Ooh, don't want that on there. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Okay. And we need some kind of design on that one, because it would be boring like this. Let's see what we can find. Oh, I like this flower. That's fun. Okay. All right, let's put some of these flowers down. Get the paints out of the way there. Okay. That's kind of cute. That looks like fun. So what are we going to put that on top of? Let's see. I was going to put it on top of this. I think I'm going to put it on top of this instead, because I like that a little better than I like that. So always change your mind. This is where I stamped off those flowers, so that looks kind of cool too. Another one of those 2-for-1 deals. Ooh, too much paint. That just kind of, it's pretty, but it's not as good a print as I was hoping for. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it over this one. Oh, let's do. Oh, there's my dog outside whining. I better go let him in. He has withdrawal symptoms if I'm away from him too long. Come on, Pep. Find a place to lay down. Yeah, that's good. Lay down right there. Okay. Now then, let's do, see if that one's dry. We'll do the heart. Yeah. Okay, we're going to put the heart on top of this. Mm-hmm. That may not be as easy to do as I thought. Okay, I think what we're going to do is goop this up pretty good, put the heart on top of it, and then take it off and print it straight onto here. So let's choose one. We've got, whoops, got that one, and that one, and this one. I think I'm going to use this one, at least for this time. Okay. And what color do we want that heart to be? The background is it's more brown than I thought it was, so I'm afraid a bright pink heart will look kind of silly. We don't want a bright pink heart that's going to look silly. So how about a velvet crush? How about that? We'll put a velvet crush heart on it. It's just paper, right? It won't hurt. If it's not good, we'll just throw it away. That's gross. Okay. Okay. Let's put this heart down and put it right there so I can grab it easier, I think. I'd like to leave a good imprint on here, but the main thing I want to do is get the paint on this heart so we can pick it up and bring it over here, put it down. I'm over here. I'm just kind of pressing it down. And it just barely shows, and I think that's because the paint all soaked in. So that's a little sad. Find another one and we will put it on there. Let's do that here. I'm going to try that heart again and see. Oh, there we go. It looks kind of pretty. But I should have done that and then the frame, I guess, if I wanted the heart to show on that one. You know, you live and learn. Okay, let's see what we can get off of this one. So that came off on that green one. That's interesting. Better than just plain green anyway. Okay. Let's try that again. And maybe a lighter purple will look better. Maybe it'll show it better if it's lighter. We'll see. Okay. Let's try this again. See if we'll get a better print this Okay. That looks better. I like that. I like that. That's okay. Rarely ever turns out exactly the way it is in your head, but. Oh, sorry, Tubby. Sorry, bud. Goodness, excuse me. Been talking too long. Okay. That one's all right. Now we're going to see what happens if we put a lighter coat onto this. Just for fun. Okay. Let's see what we get here. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know. All right. Good grief. I've been doing this for almost an hour and a half. What am I talking? Been yakking for an hour and a half. Okay. I'm going to just go ahead and see if we can get off any more on top of that. Not much. Can't really tell anything happened. Okay. I think we're going to stop right there. Well, I still got that other frame I want to put a heart on. This dark red and blue one. I need to put a heart on that one. Okay, we'll do this one more thing, and then we're gonna call it a night. All right, what color heart do I want? I think this dark metallic would be good. Ooh, goodness gracious. That ought to be gloopy enough to work. Goodness. Brayer that off. One thing I really love about the mixed media art is that you don't waste anything. You just put it on something else. No extra paint that just gets wasted. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, pick that up. Uh-oh. I didn't get it good over there. Let's do this. Add some more paint there. It's still not getting it. What is going on with that spot? Let's just put that spot down right there. Everywhere I go to touch it, to put it somewhere else, I end up taking paint off. Okay, this is going to be the last one. All right, now we're going to lay that down right there. And push really hard and hope and hope and hope. Okay, let's see what happens. Well, we got a heart. I'm not sure what I think about it, but we did get a heart. And I think I'm gonna use this one here. Ooh, maybe that one. That definitely needs some help. So let's do that. No, that won't be as pretty in the heart though. All right, let's do this one. Say you just change your mind. It's okay to change your mind and then change it back. Okay, here's that. Gives it some pretty texture. Okay. And then let's try this again with this one and see if we can get this purple to come off on it. Maybe there's enough left. Alrighty. Well, that's what we got. I think that's a pretty painty paper. Okay. I think we are through for tonight. I tell you, it's fun. It's addicting. Don't get a jelly plate unless you want to work for 2 hours and have it feel like 5 minutes. Blessings to you all. Good night.